What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 5 of season 1 of Solo Leveling. We'll be going full spoilers ahead, so hopefully you've watched this episode, as it is the 5th episode we are reviewing with full spoilers. Real quick recap. People are noticing Jinwoo is getting buff. Nurses are noticing. They want his number. His sister's noticing. He's noticing. He's having the Spider-Man experience where Spider-Man notices he's getting stronger. But with all that strength, he realizes he's not making a whole lot of money. So he needs to be able to pay rent. And so he looks for a job doing the whole dungeon running thing. He finds a group of people who's like, I think, 4 level Ds. Or no, 4
Cs.
4 level Cs, 2 Ds.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to go tackle a C dungeon. They need somebody to help out because they only have 6. And so they have, I forgot the kid's name, but he's got a brand new suit of armor. His dad bought him for, doing this. And Jinwoo, who is technically a rank E. And so he gets signed on to basically carry their stuff around for them. He's not going in for combat, although he's likely more strong than all of these guys. But he's still a rank E, so he's getting that kind of work because it's a C dungeon. And so anyway, he goes in with them. It's like a dark dungeon, no lights. They have to use their own light. They end up running into a bunch of ants. They fight the ants. They realize after fighting the ants 2 things. Jinwoo realizes that these guys are like a well-oiled machine. They're really good at their methods and communication, which is the dream if you're playing an MMO. And they notice that all the ants seem to have taken damage before, having parts of them missing. They're trying to figure out what did that, if it was magic, if it was their weapons. They assume something else is in the dungeon with it and has been fighting them. They continue on down the dungeon. We get a flash over to some guild and some guild leader who looks like the genie from Buchigiri and some other animes we were talking about, and he's basically training. So something's going on with that character. We don't fully know yet. Flashback to Jinwoo and the crew going through the dungeon. They end up finding the boss lair that's covered in spider webs. The whole time, Jinwoo is very suspicious of what's going on. Something feels off. He's really concerned about these guys not having a healer. They've never had a healer. They said that. They just go into dungeons without healers, and he thinks that's really weird because even though he's low rank, he's done a lot of runs. He knows how things work. So they find the boss. They find a bunch of crystals. They want to start mining the crystals before the boss wakes up. But one of the 6 original dudes says that he forgot the equipment to grab the crystals. Very nonchalantly, he's like, oh, I forgot. And the other guy's like, oh, man, I told you to always bring the stuff. So the 6 of them say they're going to go grab the stuff, leaving Jinwoo and the newbie behind in the boss lair. And while Jinwoo's doing the math in his head on what the hell's going on here, they sabotage the entrance of the boss lair, sealing them inside with the boss, and they make they're just leaving them behind. So the spider wakes up. The kid goes to say he's going to take care of it himself, but of course Jinwoo tells him not to move, puts the stuff down, gets ready to fight the boss, recognizing that he's never fought a level C boss or been in a level C dungeon before, and he's going to be put to the test, basically. Also, one little note worth mentioning is they're kind of talking about how Jinwoo was going to get paid for the job but not get any of the spoils, although if they were to grab the crystals, which obviously they're not now, they would have split that with him because of legal reasons in the contract, which I thought was kind of interesting, especially because the guy was so quick to be like, oh yeah, of course, and just was done with it. I was like, that's weird. That he was just like, okay, cool. So they got screwed over, and we'll get a continuation of this in the next episode where we'll probably see hopefully a pretty cool fight. What do we think?
It was a pretty good episode. The big takeaway I had from this was they basically were kind of just emphasizing the fact that not everyone who does this job is a good person.
Is on the up and up, yeah.
Yeah. And that you can essentially, since you're not in the real world, you can get away with crime.
Accidents can happen.
Yeah, which they mentioned in a flashback with him and the guy who I think did live, but he escaped from the dungeon with the grinning statue, from episode 1 or 2 or whatever.
Kind of reminds me of like the old west and like gold mining, stuff like that. Accidents would happen all the time when people found gold, or even if you're playing a game like DayZ and you're like raiding stuff with people, and then someone's like, I'm just gonna kill this dude and take the shit. So yeah, it's really interesting to kind of see that dynamic.
Yeah, and then obviously seeing that the stats are affecting him, either that or the workout routine.
Yeah, I would say, did we get confirmation of that? Because it could just because it's making him do these things that his body's just getting stronger, but also he is
a mix of the two.
Physically getting stronger, so there'd have to be some torque there and have to be muscle.
Yeah, well, I mean, he keeps increasing his strength stat too.
Which also something worth noting. He's been just laying those points into strength. I think he's like at 40 something, which is
50.
Pretty good stats there. But he's now putting it into, did he say agility or dex?
He puts them in agility and into constitution.
Yeah.
So, if I saw that right, when he actually distributed the points, it happened pretty quick. So, he decided to opt out of intelligence. So I'm sure a good 2/3 of the Dark Souls community is cheering him on now.
True.
But yeah, overall, it was fun. The only thing that's kind of a bummer is that whole episode is basically a setup for the next episode.
Yep.
And so, like, nothing super exciting happened, which is fine. Setup is good. I just hope the next fight. And then, of course, the inevitable resolution between him and the 6 scumbags will also have to be a thing. So
yeah, I'm really curious how that's going to get handled.
If I had to take a guess, they're going to beat the boss. The dungeon will close, which is why they didn't want to kill the boss, why they blocked off the room. And then they come back, mine the stuff or whatever, etc. So, but I have a feeling they're just going to kill the boss. They're going to grab maybe some of the mana crystals. It'll close, and then the other guys will get screwed out of the crystals.
Yeah,
is my guess. I don't know, but
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, overall, it was fun. I feel bad for Richie Rich because he was not a good first dungeon for him.
No, we both kind of like said something about like you're like he's really enthusiastic, and I was just like, yeah, something bad's gonna happen. Yeah. Like either he's gonna get embarrassed, which seems like it's gonna happen here, maybe not in the way I was thinking, but you know he's not gonna be able to do what he thought he was gonna do, or he's gonna get murdered. So, because especially in anime, anyone who's like overzealous, like really stoked, like oh boy, let's go. It's like okay, we're gonna learn a lesson today.
Especially in a show that kills people. So
yeah. True, yeah. We've already seen a bunch of people get murdered in the show, so the only person I'm confident won't get killed is Jinwoo, even though he's died, so.
True, but I doubt that'll happen again.
Yeah, so. Sure. I'm just jokingly saying even he's not safe, but he's safe.
It's a second reroll. New Game maybe. Plus.
That'd be nice. That could be a whole new arc. You get be like 3 seasons into this, and all of a sudden he dies, and then he comes back, and it's a reroll. Or New Game Plus, like you said. That'd be ridiculous. But this show could totally do it because they're doing everything.
Literally a video game. Yeah.
They're doing everything. So. Yeah, I liked this episode. It was pretty straightforward. Again, I say this every time, but like I appreciate how straightforward it is. I've been watching, in case you guys are curious, Attack on Titan. I finished the first season. I got my review out. Watch that if you want. And I've also done I've watched season 2. I need to do a review of it. But those episodes are pretty straightforward. And then sometimes a bunch of shit happens. And I'm like trying to pay attention to like, wait. What'd they do? And this show, I don't really get that, which is great. It's just straight up entertainment, which is nice. So what I liked about this episode is we're seeing progression with Jinwoo. I think it's kind of dorky that he's like instantly just like Billy Badass and he's just like talking real quiet and he just knows everything now. But it's fine because, yeah, I get it. He's been soul leveling. But I liked kind of seeing dynamics of different groups. Even in the last episode, we saw a group on the street fighting that boss, and they just seemed like a normal party, overwhelmed basically. They're like, we can't do this boss fight.
It was a bunch of randos that had to get together. Yeah.
And like they just couldn't get the DPS out basically to be able to defeat this thing. And in this, it's like these dudes are basically going in with people, dropping a couple of them, and taking all the rewards. Like they have this whole plan. That's why they're so organized and so well oiled, which I think is really interesting. Like obviously I want something bad to happen to them, but it's kind of cool to even see that in this world people are doing stuff like that. So I liked that. Not really any action, although we got a little bit with the ants. It was very straightforward and basic and minimal, but like it was kind of fun to watch the group fight things. So, I mean, like I've said in other reviews, we play MMOs, we play video games, so it's kind of cool to see a show where you're seeing that team comp dynamic going on. Yeah. I'm curious about what happens in the next episode. I mean, obviously, I assume Jinwoo was going to beat the boss, but I don't know what's going to happen to the kid. I don't know what's going to happen with the other 6 people. So that's the big thing I'm interested in. I'm also curious about how much XP he's going to get for the spider boss at rank C. But this whole time, watching this episode, I was like, they need to make this into a video game. I would play this game. It would be so easy to do. Just have like a city hub with like random portals that open up, or whenever you start up a mission, and then you just go in with your team like they do in this. I mean, they already made the video game. You just got to physically do it.
So there's a few other animes you should watch then, because they basically follow this formula without the portals. Just in general, like, you know, and Delicious and Dungeon even. The dungeon's just
they're very similar.
Inverted tower. Yep. Danmachi is about a dungeon in a city that you just progress further and further in. You know, Sword Art Online, etc. There's a bunch of them.
I tried watching Sword Art back in the day. I wasn't into it.
Season 1's pretty good.
But, yeah, I didn't watch a whole lot of it. But, yeah, just the system they have here, I'm like, you could so easily make this into a game. Oh, yeah. Because it's based off games, but it could be fun. Yeah, decent episode, though. I liked it. But, like you said, it's all set up, so not a whole lot to talk about. So, yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, let us know in the comments what you guys think of this episode. What do you think is coming? What are some of your favorite things about the episode? And, yeah, what are you thinking about the show so far? And would you play this as a video game? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to solo leveling. No spoilers as well. I know this is a manhwa, so if you know what happens, don't tell us. It's a lot more fun if we don't know. I've been Seth, this has been Chevy. Stay tuned. I'm sure we'll have more reviews soon. We have dropped Metallic Rouge, in case you're curious. I'm not going to watch it anymore. Chevy will continue watching it. If he likes it, he'll let me know. I might come back to it. And we're not watching Puchigiri anymore. But if it gets good, let us know. But yeah, I've been Seth, this has been Chevy, and we'll talk to you guys later.